Hey guys, we just wanted to take a quick second to address our brief absence here at TCF. I was personally up on a fishing trip on Lake Michigan, up in Wisconsin last weekend, so our show was going to be a little bit delayed anyway. But with all that is going on in the world, we didn't really feel that it was appropriate for us to come onto the podcast and discuss sports and other topics with everything going on in our country. We here at TCF fully support every single peaceful protest going on across the country. We're fully disgusted with any form of racism that happens anywhere. We will get back to our normally scheduled programming here this week, but since you guys have been upfront, loyal, and honest with us for the last 2.5 years, we felt the need to do so with you guys. So thanks as always for your love and support, but that is why we have been gone the last 2 weeks. But like I said, back in full swing here, starting now. Today on episode 73, our Adbert Adzolay episode of Typical Chicago Fans, we have a great interview with the director of morale, Frederic. We have sinkers and floaters as always, a sports return update, local food spotlight, what you watching, let's roll. Hello and welcome to episode 73 of Typical Chicago Fans. It is Monday, June 8th. I am your boy Boomy on Twitter at BoomyTCF. Make sure to follow the main page at typical_Chicago. Check out our Facebook and Instagram pages. Just go there, type in Typical Chicago Fans. You'll find us there. Head on over to the YouTube page. Subscribe to that page for all of our content in video form. Make sure to subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts. Follow us on Spotify. And come to find out, we are actually on Google Podcasts as well. My wife found that out, so shout out to her. So if you're a Google Podcast listener, make sure you follow us on there. Huge ginormous shout out to our sponsor, Lodi Tap House. Make sure to check out both of their Facebook pages for their Maple Park and their Utica locations. Hit them up this week for some delicious takeout food. And I can't speak for the Maple Park location, but I know the Utica location has a beautiful patio set up on Main Street in Utica. But if not, you can get your food to go, get a growler or a crowler full of beer. Can't go wrong. Delicious food, delicious beer. So make sure you check them out on both of their Facebook pages. I had the pleasure.
Maple Park's patio is awesome. Maple Park just got their patio opened up. It's beautiful. They put like the green fake looking grass, it's almost like the carpet kind of look to it, but it's like artificial grass kind of thing. So looks nice little patio they've done. So really looks cool.
That's what they got going on in Utica. Me and the wife got takeout from there the other night, and the burger of the month, the Euro. I think it's the everyday Euro burger. It was insanely good. So make sure you check out Lodi Tap House. And you really can't go wrong with anything on the menu. My wife got a salad, which I don't even like salads, but it was one of the best, most delicious salads I've ever had. And my wife actually made the comment that this is as close to having too much chicken on a salad before, it's too much. I didn't think that was a thing, but it was absolutely delicious. And then, of course, you got to get an order of cheese curds. You can't go wrong. So make sure you hit up Lodi Tap House. I am joined tonight by Zach, as always, on Twitter at ZLiliaTCF, and Matt Schoolfield on Twitter at schools_01. Boys, it's been 2 weeks, like we said, but I'm glad to be back. I know we haven't had a whole lot of momentum in there's no real sports back yet, but it seems like we're getting there.
We're going in the right direction, at least.
Absolutely.
For right now, or at least there's a light at the end of the tunnel here for we got some live sports back. We got NASCAR and stuff, but we're looking at the 4 major sports. And I'm thinking NHL or NBA will be the first ones back. That's my guess.
That's what it's looking like. Absolutely.
That's my guess. I've missed sports so much, but I think we'll be rewarded here in the next few months, hopefully. With a lot of sports.
It's all going to pay off at the end, I think.
Let's hope.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, it's felt like sports has been a mirage for the last 2 months. Like you can see it off in the distance,
right?
Close. It just they keep moving the goalposts, and you can't.
Very true.
The start of the season keeps moving. The end of the season keeps moving. It's like, although if everything lines up correctly, the virus, kind of dissipates as it seems to be like it's trending to do. And like if we can get like September, October, where it's just like all 4 major sports going at once, and everyone's you got playoffs for a couple sports, you got NFL kicking off, college football kicking off. Those couple months could be outrageous this year too. So we could get a little a heavy payback for all that patience and waiting we've been doing the last few months. So I don't know. That's what I'm hoping for. At least a little more optimism than it's been at least right now.
100%, man. I think this could be a really special time if we're going to back seasons right up to each other and everything's rolling at once. It's going to be a thing.
Yeah, like well, we
But
got the Masters. The Masters are talking.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Well, like yeah, so that'd be sweet.
Man, I keep forgetting about some of the stuff that's gotten postponed or pushed back or originally
everything. Kentucky Derby. There's tons of stuff. It's nuts.
Me and the wife were just talking about the Kentucky Derby the other day because we were supposed to go up to Matt's house to watch it, and she listened to the podcast. She's like, I need to meet Matt and his wife. I'm like, once they have the Kentucky Derby, we'll figure something out. So we'll get everything back on track. But let's jump into it.
Maybe it'll be like the Triple Crown, all like consecutive weekends or something.
Yeah, that'd be
like you have to do all 3 races back.
That'd be crazy,
wouldn't it?
No, it'd be awesome. Just run those back to back weekends. That'd be perfect.
It'd be beautiful. It would be beautiful.
We'll just have to road trip up to Maddie's house 3 weekends in a row. So
I'm down.
All right, perfect. But let's jump into it. We recorded a great interview with the director of morale, Dom Frederic. Thanks so much to him. This is like, man, I don't even know if it's his 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. He's the most frequent guest on the Typical Chicago Fans, dating all the way back 2.5 years ago. He was one of our first major guests, and he's been so willing to come back on so many times over the last couple of years. But we had him on to talk about a week from today. We're recording this Sunday, is the Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire documentary on ESPN. So we had to have Dom on to talk about it. So let's kick it to that interview with Dom Frederic. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome back the most frequent guest to the Typical Chicago Fans podcast. He's making like his 6th or 7th or 8th or 9th appearance. I don't even know anymore. He's the director of morale for your Chicago Cubs, dropping a brand new line of merch today. You need to go to www.morale.store.com. I promise you won't be disappointed. I'm wearing my shirt right now from the last one. Love the sleeveless hoodie I got at home. Wear them all the time. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Dom_Frederic. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back the director of morale, Dom Frederic. Fred, how we doing, my man?
Boomy, thanks for having me, Zach. Thank you again. It's great to be here. 9th, 10th, whatever time. It's always great. It's always the best. And thanks for having me again.
You are always welcome, Fred.
Always
anytime.
welcome. And so, like I said, we haven't had sports here for a while, but we are ramping up, getting back into sports, and we're getting back into it with a 30 for 30 about Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire. What year? That was 1998, right?
1998.
1998 in the summer that saved baseball.
Yes, 100%.
Absolutely. That no one wants to talk about. No owner wants to give credit to either.
No, they don't. And then the owner of the Chicago Cubs, we'll say that, don't want to acknowledge that. But we'll get more into that throughout the podcast.
Yes, absolutely. So, Fred, obviously a week from today that we're recording this, Sunday, June 7th is coming out Monday, June 8th. A week from today is going to be the 30 for 30 on the summer of 98 with Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire. So everyone that doesn't know, make sure you turn into ESPN. But what are you, as the Dom, looking forward to the most in this documentary that has been touted for well over a couple months?
Biggest thing is... And I it's obviously not going to be like The Last Dance, considering that was a 10-part docuseries. But it's I don't know what other type of footage they have, but it's just bringing back the memories of how iconic, how important, how critical this guy was, not only to Chicago, the franchise, baseball, but also like America. This guy was those two. But I'm just going to focus on Sammy. Those two were absolute, again, icons. And Sammy was a king at the time because of the way he played, obviously, his personality. He was, he didn't have like the swag or the flair of Javi, but he had everything else. The personality, the kind of like the boisterous, like happy mentality, at least on camera. Like when he came back in the dugout, he did the hand thing, kissed the camera and everything. Like I love Dominican Republic, all that type of stuff. So that's what I'm hoping for people to see is how important he was. Go just watch those games and how crazy the crowd was. I just can't get over it. Looking through the old clips of Sammy, hitting these balls and people are going absolutely bananas. And honestly, I know the Cubs have been good, for the past five or so years, but I still don't think for regular season games, Cubs home runs or the applause that they get matches what Sammy was able to generate on a day-by-day basis, especially in 1998.
Or anybody in baseball for that matter,
literally,
too.
Yeah, he hit home runs on command, and I've been talking about it for as long as I've been on social media, and I've been pushing it, and I've been just trying to get the word out that this guy was an absolute icon and that he is a king. And that he deserves a whole lot more than he's gotten over the past 20-something years, or whatever, 16 or so years since he left the organization.
Yeah, because they're going to focus on just that one summer. But what did Sammy and Mark McGwire, too, really mean to baseball and the Cubs, just saving it where baseball could have gone without those two?
Yeah, we were talking about it a little bit earlier before the show, but it's so fitting that this is coming out during this time because, when you think back when the strike happened in 1994, I believe.
Yep.
Correct me if I'm wrong. But, when that happens and they didn't play a World Series that year, you're going to lose a lot of fans. Just look at it right now. You go on Twitter and whether it's Cap or other people that, post polls online, they say, do you care if the season comes back? And a lot of people are like, no. And you just scroll through the comments and people are like, we don't care anymore, this is stupid, let's just move on to 2021. That is terrible sign. And again, those could just be a bunch of Wilbons that are just trying to spam the comments. But it goes to show if they don't play, then there is a catastrophic effect to not playing games and to not having a World Series and things like that. So that's what the MLB was coming off of that at that time. And then you just have this massive home run chase. You have these two guys, and again, I'm just going to focus on Sammy. You have this guy that is a man from the Dominican Republic. He is this new type of athlete. Again, we know he was on steroids, but he was just this electric athlete with this personality, this very boisterous, confident figure in baseball, and he was able to again hit homers on command as if he was at a driving range, and it brought so much excitement. And I just remember coming home as a kid, and turning on WGN, and literally you turn on the TV, Sammy's up to bat, he was hitting a tank, and that's what happened. It was just and that doesn't happen. And I get all the steroids and all that type of stuff, but let's not forget there were so many other people that were using steroids at that time. The pitchers were using it, all that, and again, he still had to hit the ball.
Yeah,
he still had to barrel it up. He still had to put good wood on it.
You still had to be talent there.
You still absolutely. You still have to be talented. You still have to be able to hit big league pitching. Just to barrel it up alone. Obviously it's incredibly hard just to hit the ball in the major leagues. So the fact that he was able to do what he did is absolutely spectacular. And again, I'm probably going to finish this sentence the whole entire interview. He's getting a raw deal. I'm going to finish that with every time after really every question you ask.
Print the shirts.
Getting a raw deal. Yeah, he's getting a raw deal. He should be back. He's the freaking king.
You were saying about Sammy Sosa's personality, you didn't really get to see it as much because social media wasn't around back then.
He'd be a superstar.
With even the little interviews that you've been posting with him doing, you can just see he loved baseball. He loved being in the locker room. He loved doing the interviews. He loved being around people, it seemed like. It seemed like he was having a good time in the moment. And it just kind of, like I said, it kind of sucks that maybe social media wasn't as big then. He would have bet you could have seen more of the personality. But people do forget that he had a great personality.
Yeah, I'm not trying to make him out to be like a saint. That's not what it comes down to. But the reality of it was he was exciting. He is what we all appreciate in Javi Baez. What we all appreciate in
he had the love of the game.
Yeah, these incredibly talented athletes with flair and athleticism, and they have this attitude and confidence about themselves. I mean, how many players had their own move besides like Ricky Henderson when they hit a home run?
People talk about People talk about the bat flips now, and people getting like a hit for doing a bat flip. He kind of posed every single time he hit a home run. Yeah, like if you really think about it, and he got away with it.
The ball wasn't even out of the infield yet.
No,
he's up like 10 feet in the air. It's ridiculous, and it's that type of swagger that just goes. I mean, it's just incredible that's gone by the wayside, and. Again, there's a ton of people that don't like him for what he did, or the controversy in 2004 when Dusty Baker, even though he came out, he was like gave him the day off, and all this stupid the holding of grudges and things like that is just absolutely ridiculous. But again, back to my original point, he was an absolute icon that spewed confidence, that spewed athleticism, and just hit tanks. And he gave you the Sosa hop, and then he did the finger thing, and he literally, I love Dominican Republic, and he was electric, and I know that the documentary is going to show that, because it's going to open so many eyes again to understand that Sammy Sosa is the Chicago Cubs. Let's not get that wrong. I posted a video probably, I don't know, like 2 months ago, and I was driving down Addison, east down Addison, and I'm just driving, and I was like, this all of this, as you're driving east down Addison, you start to see the buildings pop up. Like, that doesn't exist. I understand Wrigley was there beforehand. I understand Wrigley was popular beforehand, but that does not, the essence, the multitude of like bars and the atmosphere, like without Sammy, a lot of that isn't there. And I'll stand by that, because Sammy made Wrigley into a party, into a club, for lack of a better term. Just like this place you had to be, because of how electric he was and how good he was.
People are still sitting out behind left field waiting for a home run ball just because of Sammy Sosa.
Absolutely. You got 70-year-olds sitting in their lawn chairs.
Yeah.
Like even now behind a massive scoreboard, they're still sitting there waiting for a ball.
Still could happen.
I mean, Sammy put a ball. He hit a window across the street. He hit it over the street. He broke someone's window. But short of like Glen Allen Hill hitting on the top of the rooftop, it's like this guy did things that no one's ever done, and just to throw him away like he's a piece of trash is pretty sad.
You made a great point and used a great word, Fred, icon. And that's the exact way that I look at it, is because when I was, I think, 98, I would have been like 7 or 8 years old. That was the first time I remember coming into really baseball and like literally being in Little League and getting a base hit and Sammy hopping or scoring a run and doing the, kiss the chest, kiss the lips, point to the sky stuff. Like, that's the kind of stuff that guys like, I'm 29, Zach's 25. Like, that's the stuff we did at home. That's the stuff we did in Little League that, he was the face of the game for such a long time. And like you said, anytime he stepped up to the plate, there was a fair chance he was going to hit a ball, 500 feet. And I feel like a lot of that is just getting washed under the rug right now because they don't want to talk about it and don't want to face the backlash that maybe is the steroids. Do you think that this documentary is going to address any of that steroid stuff? You have to, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they will, but I also think if Mark and Sammy were going to agree to it, they're not going to, just be fresh meat for down. For these editors and publishers, just producers to, tear them down. I don't think that's going to happen. I hope I don't think this will be the case, but I hope they can just touch on like how much of baseball we're using steroids, just to kind of give like a glimpse of the competition they were facing, how the playing field was evened out. Yeah, exactly. And and I think about this a lot. Like, no one wants to give Sammy credit for being he is the Cubs all-time home run leader, correct? Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Yep.
But like what do we say? Yeah, absolutely. But what do we say about, and this isn't to the fault of like Cubs players or players now, but like what do we say with like when the balls, over the past couple of years have been, juiced up.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
they're playing against, they're hitting these balls and they're going crazy. So
one's
why
hitting
aren't
65.
Or even looking back
Yeah.
in like history and the dead ball era, like how is it fair to those guys who maybe led their team in hitting? Like what would they have been like? It's not fair to look at to say like what would those guys have been like today in a very live ball era,
Yeah, and the crazy thing, and before all the pandemic stuff happened, there is a team. The Astros are going to, whenever the season starts, they are going to have a banner hung in their stadium that they're the 2017 World Series and still have the trophy in their stadium.
Yeah.
And you can't have Sammy Sosa, who he cheated, but everyone else was cheating. He can't even get I know he's been up on the scoreboard for 5 seconds in between innings, during a Cubs game, but he can't even get a poster. He can't even get
they won't sell his jersey in the team store.
Yeah, up a flag on the top of the stadium. I mean, going
his
back
number's
to
not retired. I don't know.
Blows my
I don't
mind.
know.
He can't even get anything. Just can you something to show Sammy's importance to the organization, and just the fact that these grudges are still being held, and honestly, no one knows what they're being held for. Is it the steroids? Is it the Dusty Baker 2004 thing? Is it
right.
Sammy being a supposed bad teammate at times, during his tenure with the Cubs? What is it? And to just hold the fans kind of hostage from their own memories is just ridiculous. And honestly, it's not good business practice just to just throw iconic people aside. I mean, no one's perfect here. I mean, we're baseball isn't the court of law. It's a game.
Yeah.
And it's people should be able to celebrate. I mean, Sammy's not a murderer or anything. He's whatever. He had some scuffles here and there, but the guy is just a normal guy. He did what other people were doing in terms of cheating, and he was a great player. So I just don't understand why there isn't this there isn't any time where he can go out and throw the first pitch, where he can't sing the 7th inning stretch, where he can't. I mean, there's nothing, and it's
I think
sad.
he needs a statue.
I do
The
too.
statue of Sammy Sosa's top, that'd be so cool.
He needs a statue right on the southeast corner of Wrigley Field, right where Ron Santo is and Billy Williams. And there's no reason why he shouldn't be there. I mean, it's crazy. And I just hope, again, that I know your question was about will they talk about the steroids. I just hope they continue to show his importance to the organization, despite the steroids and despite the other stuff. That's still so convoluted. We don't know what grudges are being held by what people to show or to prove the point that he shouldn't come back to Wrigley Field. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Kind of going off that, do you think this will help the relationship between Sammy Sosa and the Chicago Cubs? Do you think it will do anything for that?
Well, I just don't know how. Again, I'm not trying to be super critical of the Ricketts and the people in the business ops and things like that. But I just don't know how you can have me and other Cubs accounts that dominate the Cubs Twitter space and Cubs social media space that they're all pushing for Sammy to come back. I know The Athletic just had a poll out a month ago, and they showed their results that 75 or something, probably more than that, percent of the fans want Sammy back.
Yeah.
I just don't know how they don't see the demand for Sammy to come back and for Sammy to be a part of the organization. I mean, this has been 20 years. He's served his time, for lack of a better term. He's been thrown out into the woods and say, you're there. We're not bringing you back. And I mean, this should be water under the bridge now. It's crazy that it's not. It's absolutely crazy with everything that's going on today, that are much more important than Sammy Sosa or the Cubs alone. The fact that we have all these crises or whatever you want to call it, and pandemics and riots, and we're still holding grudges about Sammy Sosa leaving a game in 2004 when he was given the off day, or about a boombox or something. It's ridiculous. So I can't see how they don't see this and see everyone clamoring for him to come back, and hopefully in their own right, like see these videos and see the clips of Sammy hitting these home runs and people going absolutely bananas to the point where like I can't compare anything else to him hitting a home run and the crowd blowing up like they did. You can only compare it to like Cubs 2016 playoff game. That's really it. Like Miggy hitting the grand slam against the Dodgers and some of the other things that happened during
especially
that
how crazy the
World Series
bleachers
run.
were.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man. I just don't know how they can watch it and be like, yeah, I still think we're doing the right thing.
And it's not it's not like Sammy's ever came out against and said anything against the Cubs or he's never going out here and whined about it or anything. He's gone about his business. He's had some opportunities where he could have said something bad about them and about the Cubs or whatever. And all this stuff about being a bad teammate, like there really hasn't been anything that's come out since then about him. Like if he was such this bad teammate or whatever, you'd think that there'd be more that would come out.
Yeah, I mean, why can't I think it's so funny too. We all watched the Jordan documentary and how critical he was of his teammates. Who said the same couldn't be for Sammy Sosa? Like why why couldn't again, no one knows besides the people that were in that clubhouse, but I've just never heard like people say just Sammy was just like overly selfish and even if he was, it was like why should that determine if Sammy should come back or not? I just don't understand that. It doesn't make any sense. Again, I think this really has to do with like old school baseball, like holding down their ground. The last guard, just like saying like he did it the wrong way, and if I did what Sammy did, then I would have hit 609 home runs. Like, you know what, dude? Probably you wouldn't have.
Yeah, exactly.
Because just doing that is ridiculous in and of itself. I mean, let's think about this, and I don't want to keep hammering on this point, but Barry Bonds is like you still talk about it today. Like you said, who's the best player of all time? A lot of people are saying Barry Bonds. Mm-hmm. So then why can't Sammy even be considered one of the best great Cubs of all time, or even be like
one of the best players of the '90s even?
Yeah, but Boomy even lower than that. It's like why can't he be respected as one of the great all time Cubs?
Yeah,
it's just one organization.
No, this isn't. I'm not asking for Sammy to go to the Hall of Fame. I'm not asking for Sammy to like get a award for being one of the best players in the 90s. I'm simply asking for Sammy to be able to represent himself at Wrigley on a regular basis, like as if he was Scottie Pippen or Michael Jordan for Bulls games, or like the old Blackhawks, like they show up to the United Center and they like they're there and they're approachable, things like that. It's just the fact that they can't do that is sad. And again, the documentary will, and I really hope, like turns the ownership, business side, whoever's making this decision to make him a castaway. I really hope it changed their mind.
To me, it's like there's two sides of it, and this is what drives me nuts. Is like people will say like it's the steroid part that organizations don't want to be a part of. Okay, well, Barry Bonds has been an instructor in the Giants organization in the past. Mark McGwire has coached in, I believe, the San Diego and maybe one other organization.
I think the Cardinals.
Yeah, and the Cardinals. So it's like that's not part of it. You want to talk about a morality part, or being a teammate part, like Ty Cobb's one of the worst human beings of all time, and he's still, his numbers are retired and is part of the National Baseball Hall of Fame. So like, what is it? And like you said though, Fred, it's a lot of the gray area, and like that no one's being transparent enough to say like this is the reason why. That's what is so frustrating to me, at least.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, Boomy, to your point, like Barry Bonds was the Marlins hitting coach.
Yes, that's right.
And Manny Ramirez was in the Cubs organization as a player coach in 2015 and was like in the dugout during that 2015 run.
Yep.
Like
also
in the
not
playoffs.
a great teammate.
Yeah, I mean, like he was revered by Javi and the other Latino players for being this, father figure, this, and it's just crazy, man. It's crazy that, and you brought up a good point, this gray area that honestly, I feel, a lot of Cubs fans are frustrated about with the organization at times, and I don't blame them. I mean, there is a lot of gray area. I feel like there are a lot of Cubs fans that have like 1 foot in, 1 foot out for various reasons. I don't mean to get political or anything, but this type of stuff where it's like they're doing one thing. You know, you want to support them because they're the ownership, but they keep making these like bonehead decisions.
Yes.
I'd call them bonehead. These like bonehead decisions that kind of like put them like a peg down in people's minds, and it's the tough thing. And Sammy doesn't help. They have so many bigger things on their plate, whether it be marquee network, whether it be how they've handled like the past couple of years with the last 2 off seasons with not really doing anything. And I mean, so I've tried my best to back them, and I know the tough spots they're in, but you know. And they're still being petty with Sammy. It's like, dude, pick your battles, man.
So low on the totem pole, like
exactly.
Like you said, pick your battles.
Take your W's where you can, and bringing Sammy back is an easy W. That's a Sunday hop. That is a layup. That's an absolute layup. And the fact that they can't pull the trigger on it, again, baffles me to no end.
My thing is, have one day. Make it Sammy when everyone can go back to the ballpark, make it Sammy Sosa Day, and just go to the stadium and see what the atmosphere is like. If it's not good, then don't do anything with it. Yeah. But just check the atmosphere there and see what happens, and then go from there and see where he is in the Cup. Like just let the fans show their appreciation. Like let them show their love.
Zach, you're so right. And let's just think about it. We all know going to Cubs games and even watching Cubs games, all the people they've brought back instead of Sammy Sosa.
Yeah.
Like, think about it. Like, these actors that we have no idea who they have. They brought Dude freaking Perfect. Dude Perfect. The 5,
not even a Cub
Corey
fan.
Trevor, Cody, all those guys.
Cast of Shameless.
Literally, those cast all these type of people before the all-time home run leader in franchise history. It is insane.
If you look at the stats, maybe the greatest Cub of all time.
It literally, he is the greatest Cub of all time. I'm sorry, he just is. He just is. I mean, I'll argue that with anybody. He just is. Yeah. I mean, people are gonna say, "Oh no, dude, he's a cheater. He's a this that." I'm like, no, he's the greatest Cub of all time. He's faced players who cheated, pitchers who cheated, all this type of stuff, and he still was iconic. It doesn't mean I think he has to be in the Hall of Fame. I just want him to be considered as one of the best Cubs of all time. And the fact that we have the freaking guys from Dude Perfect coming in, throwing the first pitch, singing the 7th inning stretch. The Dude Perfect guys. Dude Perfect.
Frauds.
I just watched their documentary. Absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous that these people have been able to throw out the first pitch and sing the 7th inning stretch, and Sammy Sosa, the king, hasn't. He's been stuck in, I think he lives in like the Emerald Arabs or Arab, whatever you call him, in like the Middle East. He's like a businessman now. He's not even considered like a baseball player. He's an entrepreneur because you guys threw him literally to the wolves in the woods. And we have to Dude Perfect? Dude Perfect. Are you kidding me?
That is so
true. It is insane.
Insane. Like I said,
honestly,
one day.
Dude, I feel like now that we're talking about it, I feel like I've gone too light without pumping Sammy up more. I've gone too soft. I should be going even harder. I should be going even harder because that's how crazy it is.
Because are the Cubs going to tweet anything about this when it comes? Like, are they going to?
When it comes Sunday?
Yeah, come Sunday. Are they going to say anything?
Other people that run like the big Cubs, we might as well just take over the Cubs account.
Yes, I fully support that.
Yes.
You know, it's like if they don't, I mean, we saw how like the Bulls played along with the Last Dance and all that type. It was great, and it made what that whole documentary was, and obviously that thing will surpass whatever the Sammy thing is tenfold because of how in depth it was and all that type of stuff. But I don't want to say I highly doubt, but I don't think there's going to be this big push by anyone really in the organization to talk about Sammy in this documentary. This has been total grassroots, underground, blue collar. I mean, you got me who's just pushing it away with I have a following, but it's not this massive 2 million Twitter followers like the Cubs, 2-3 million Twitter followers like the Cubs have. I mean, this has been grassroots, like I said before, underground, blue collar, just kind of like grinding your teeth, trying to get. And I feel, honestly, I don't want to say vindicated, but I feel like it's a blessing, the fact that we're getting this thing right now, because it's always like, I just feel like there's never like a good time to like, when do we like push to bring Sammy back? It's, because it's like the Cubs games are going on, then it gets washed out with other stuff. And then it's just this cycle of like people just like in the background say, hey, we should bring Sammy back. Like, no, like now is the time to do it. Now is the time to start like, mending fences with some people in your fan base and start bringing some good juju back and start doing some good things. You know what I mean? Like
Definitely.
Make some smart decisions. And I don't think I've gone hard enough now that we've been talking about this. Dude, perfect.
Well, if you really think about it,
exactly, man. Dude perfect and the cast of Shameless get to throw out the first pitch. Now I'm pissed that Sammy has it. Now I'm even more pissed.
Dude, I would love to go through like a Wikipedia page to see all the people that have thrown first pitches, and it's probably so much worse than
it's
dude.
Insane. The people have saying in a 7-inning stretch, like,
or like some kid from like random suburb near Chicago that like participated in American Idol or something.
I mean, half the people I don't even know who they are, and I don't even. And I'm not saying I'm like the most like culture or like pop culture versed or whatever you want to call it, but like it's just like crazy. I didn't even like Shameless. It's not. I don't even think it's that good.
I would love just to see Harry Carey sing the 7th-inning stretch every single time. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with it too. I would be.
Or
fine
bring
with
back
it
Sammy
too
and do it every single time.
Yeah, let him do it.
I would be. I'm cool with that too, Zach. But you have the icon. You have that king sitting out there in the woods by himself, literally in the middle of the Middle East,
the United Arab Emirates
entrepreneurial business, because he can't come back and watch the 7th inning stretch. He can't even be considered like a baseball player anymore. It's ridiculous, Mr. 609.
This would be the perfect
king.
time. This would be the perfect time. While this is all coming out, maybe the Cubs are trying to mend some fences.
This is what I'm talking about.
And they're wasting it. It's a week away, and they've said nothing.
Nothing. It's crazy.
That's why we're here. We're here to spread the word.
The good fight.
I hope people are. I hope someone from the organization listens to this. And
I do too.
I mean,
we've done our research. There's got to be at least one of them. It's not mathematically proven, but we're just assuming.
Crazy.
It is absolutely nuts. It's mind-boggling.
It's crazy that they don't like. If you have all these smart people working in the organization, how do you not see the fan base loving this guy and loving what he used to, like the joy that he used to bring to Wrigley Field, and you're not going to just like at least try something?
Dude, I am not trying to make this political at all, but they have done plenty of things that would piss a lot more people off, and have brought many more controversial people during this time that we're living in around the organization, or have engaged with, or have a connection to much more controversial people than Sammy freaking Sosa.
Yeah, they get. I just don't get how they can't see what they're missing out on.
It's the lack of awareness that's very frustrating.
Yes. Hey, man, you know what? Like, I think sometimes when people are in these, they're in their suits and they got their corner offices, and they kind of look up from their, their whatever top story office, and they kind of lose touch of like what the fans are really looking for. And I feel, and that's the kind of tough thing about this, is the Cubs are considered, and they consider themselves the organization that really connects with their fan base, right? Like it's the neighborhood thing. It's we're one of you. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're one of you. Like, we want your voices to be heard. But if you really wanted that, then you would have, this whole time, you would have heard people say Sammy should be back, instead of listening to the Rick Tellenders, the Michael Wilbons, the Paul Sullivans, the Gordon Whitman. Like, that's the people they're basing this off of. These 60, 65-year-olds that have these grudges against Sammy Sosa because maybe he wasn't that nice to him one day back 20, 25 years ago. That's the people we're listening to. And it's absolutely crazy that the old guard, like I said before, the old guard are making these like public opinions or kind of speaking for the fan base. It's crazy because if you really opened your eyes and paid attention to Twitter and paid attention to Instagram, social media, like the world we live in, right? 2020, you know what I mean? Crazy concept. I know what I'm talking about. It's crazy. You know what I mean? Like paying attention to Twitter, Instagram, social media, like crazy. I know. But if they did that, then they would totally see that the demand was there and they could profit, mend fences, put all that stuff under the bridge and move forward in a positive way and just selfishly, like, just get an easy W. Just get an easy layup. Sunday hop. Easy throw to first. Mail it in, right? It's easy, and they're holding out, like, for a really stupid reason, which no one really understands.
They're saying they're losing all this money. Sell some merch with Sammy Sosa.
Sell some jerseys.
It's crazy. I know, dude. Hey, man, if I could go sell Sosa 21 jerseys, if I could sell the Fila 21 baseball shirt with the cutoff over the abs like he's wearing a football practice jersey from the 90s, if I could sell one of those, dude, if I could sell one of those with Sammy Sosa on it, you know how electric that would be?
Yeah. You'd be rolling in money, Fred.
That would be
right.
I forget the fashion.
Yeah,
dude. I've been thinking about it like all week. Like Fila, if they came out again, this would be a very like regional thing. But if they came out with like Sammy Sosa Fila like shoes, kind of like the Griffies.
I'd buy a pair
right now.
I'd literally wear them every day, and I hate wearing shoes. I like wearing flip flops during the summer. I'd be wearing them like in busting my ass like 95-degree heat, like wearing socks and shoes. That's what I would be doing.
I wear them to every single Cubs game. I would wear them every single day. I'd
wear them
get
to
2 or 3
work.
pairs.
I'd wear them to work, and if my boss was like, "No, you can't," so I'd be like,
"Time for a new job."
I'm sorry.
I guess I'm at the wrong place.
Yeah.
Oh man,
fucking icon, dude.
Absolutely, Fred. Are we gonna get baseball this? Before we keep you any longer, are we gonna get baseball this year? It's driving me nuts, man. We talked about it a little bit earlier with the different polls. Are we gonna? I'm fiending for some baseball.
I mean, listen, I don't want to sound insensitive to what's going on in the pandemic and all the other big issues that are happening, but the fact that Rosenthal came out, was it yesterday or today, and was like, yeah, the July 4th start date, yeah, that's not going to happen. It's just, it's sad. It's sad that, and I don't want to put this on the players, but I do think both sides are responsible. The owners are obviously much more responsible for what's going on. But just like everything they've done, every single thing they've done on both sides, again, not all the players, but Blake Snell coming out in like the middle of April and saying, I'm not playing for this unless I get mine, when 40 million people are unemployed and, literally small businesses are tanking. You're like, I'm not playing unless I get mine. Just like so dumb, so insensitive to all the people that have lost their jobs and are struggling and can't pay rent and can't pay their mortgage and all that type of stuff. So stupid. And then for the owners, when people like crunch the numbers and you're getting reports that if the games aren't played this year, or if they play 82 games, like the difference is like $11 million per team. It's absolutely crazy. And the fact that they can't see that if you don't play this year, or if you even play like a truncated season, like 48 games, like, yeah, it would be great to watch. Like, I'll take any baseball, but the fact it would just be like this, I don't know, this just kind of like charity season that the owners are like throwing to the fans instead of actually trying to work for the fans, for the players, for the game itself, to better the game, right? That's what the owners are there for. They're trying to, like, that's their product. Like, you want them to, you want the people who own it to take responsibility for what the game is, and the fact that they haven't done that and they haven't shown that they can do that is sad and crazy. So to go back to what you originally asked, I mean, I don't know, I feel like we hear something new every day. Like, you hear like, yeah, they're close, and no, they're not close, and yeah, so I think I'll take any baseball at this point. I will be disappointed if it's less than 82 games or less than like 87. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
if
somewhere
like
around the
40,
halfway point.
If it's around 40 games, 48 games, it's going to be bad because the Nationals won 19 or 17 or 19 games through 50 last year.
Exactly.
So, and again, you wouldn't see who the best player was, and whoever's going to win the World Series, if there is a season this year, there's going to be this huge asterisk if it's like 50 games, and then it's just not good. You're continually depreciating your championship with what the Astros went through. And won, cheated, all this type of stuff. Rob Manfred says the trophy's a piece of metal, and now you're just throwing this charity season out there for your team, for your teams, and whoever wins that, people are gonna say, oh, here we go, another fake championship, another fake trophy, just a piece of metal. And the fact that they can't see that, and the owners can't see that, and the importance of having a good, consistent product out on the field. Yes, you have to understand, as a business, as someone who runs a business, like, you have to understand you're going to take some L's at times. But public opinion and the people who supporting you can't do wrong by them. And if you consistently do that and you have the players against you, you're creating yourselves a bigger hole.
Yep.
And you're losing time, because if college football comes back, the NFL comes back, the NBA is going to come back into the fall, you're going to get screwed, man. You're going to get pushed out, and that sucks. That's what sucks, man, because the game's already struggling from a fan engagement standpoint, bringing in new fans. Everyone's saying the game's too long. We know all the gripes about
the
baseball
cliches
right now. Exactly, and the fact that they can't see that what's happening is going to absolutely damage them if there's no season, or if you get this charity season, is sad. And I hope it changes. I hope we get baseball back. I hope a deal comes back tomorrow. It would be awesome.
And if baseball thinks that they're not just going to be like kind of forgotten once all these other sports come back and they're still fighting about money and stuff, like, they're crazy.
It's a cutthroat industry as far as sports entertainment goes. You gotta
absolutely.
You start lacking, somebody's gonna pass you, and you're gonna, you said, Fred. You're up against basketball. You're up against hockey. You're up against college football. You're up against the NFL. Like, you're up against so much competition. You start lacking behind, you're gonna get lapped.
Dude, if you come back and you have a 40-game season with a this expanded playoff where everyone's gonna be in the playoff, and then you're going to be faced up against the NBA Finals and NFL football and college football if it comes back, like, you're going to get beat. You're just going to get beat, and it's going to be bad. It's going to be ugly. And again, I'll be there to watch. I'll be there to support, but I'm not your average fan. And you have to continue to reach out to the people that aren't totally interested in what you're doing, and then on top of that, you're going to lose a lot of people that are interested because they're just fed up with what's going on.
If we are to get some sort of baseball, what do you expect from the Cubs?
Man, it's so hard for me to say, but I think the biggest thing is I think it would be amazing to see David Ross fire up a team. It's going to be a sprint, man. It's going to be a one round just brawl. And whoever can get the first punch in, and whoever can get – I don't want to make it this big emotional thing, but it's if you can get fired up and you can get a team that's hot, and if it's a short season, then you can run away with something, and it can be exciting. So, and that falls on the manager a lot, being able to get a team ready to play. I'd assume, and I think everyone would be kind of ready to go in terms of the Cubs. I don't see why they wouldn't be. I don't know if the pitchers are going to all be there if baseball comes back. But hey, man, if they can come back and David Ross can get everybody fired up, and you play the best nine, all the stuff we've been talking about for years, then I don't see why not.
They definitely have the talent.
I think the first thing is hopefully the Sammy documentary goes well. We get a lot of morale from that. We start to get people thinking in the right direction, moving in the right direction. We get baseball back, and we create a little wave for ourselves. We get an 82-game season. We get the Cubs going 82-0. They run through the playoffs in 4, and then we just ride right into the fall, and it would be absolutely electric. So hey, we got time to salvage this thing, but the owners and players got to figure it out, primarily the owners.
Got to get the wheels moving sooner rather than later.
Absolutely.
Well, Fred, thank you so much for joining us. Make sure you check out Fred on Twitter at Dom_Frederic. Some new merch dropping today. Fred, as always, man, we appreciate you dropping by and joining us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys. It's always great to speak with you. Whenever you need me, you know how to reach me. And, hopefully we can talk soon when baseball actually does come back.
We'll have you back on. We'll have you back on next week.
Yeah, after the Sammy documentary, let's do it.
Absolutely.
That's going to be
a little review of it.
Absolutely.
Well, thanks, Fred, for joining us.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
Thanks, as always, to Dom Frederic for coming on. We love having him on anytime he gets a chance to. Like I said earlier, it's like the 9th time he's been on. So thank you to Dom. It's always great to hear from him. Cubs talk, past, present, future, doesn't matter. He's locked and loaded with information. We love having him on. So, like I said, thanks again to Dom Frederic.
But we gotta get Sosa back to Wrigley Field. That's the whole 100%. Point of this. Everything we gotta get Sammy Sosa a day at Wrigley Field, and then the Cubs will realize how much we love them. That we're gonna get the statue. It's gonna be all because of us, boys.
Yeah, us and Dom's leading the charge on
Dom
Twitter.
is leading the charge. He is the president of the Sammy Sosa fan club right now, and we are going to get him a statue, and he's gonna get his day at Wrigley Field.
One can only hope. But as always, let's jump into sinkers and floaters. My sinker is us, and that is because me and Zach, and I believe I talked to this about Matt and Pat. We discussed that we had recorded so many episodes before we had come onto the Loop Sports. We've kept track of however many we've done, before that, since that. So the last episode that we recorded, I believe it was like the last week of May 22nd, should have been our 100th episode of all time. Now, we're only on 73 because we started back over at 73 when we joined the Loop Sports almost 2 years ago. And we just completely forgot. We talked about it. We said, hey, episode 100 for our all-timer is coming up here soon. We need to make sure we mention it. We recorded a whole episode. I believe that was the episode that we had a big interview on. So I think we just kind of, smoothed over it. But yeah, we are absolute doofuses for forgetting.
We were all excited about it too. We were like talking about it for a while. We were like, oh, we're gonna have a big episode for it, and then we just the next day after we recorded it, Boomy texted me. He's like, dude, we forgot about our 100th episode that we've been like talking about for like months.
Yes.
Here's what you gotta do: just pick an arbitrary number now. So just pick like the 134th episode. You know what?
Yeah, 169th episode.
Right. Just pick some random ass number and just pick
and
that.
Just
that's your celebratory one. Yeah.
Well, it's been set.
And obviously, when we get to episode 100, that the shows are named, because like I said, we started renumbering when we joined the Loop Sports. Once we get to 100, we'll obviously know, because we read it in the intro every day. But we're just we completely missed the actual 100th episode of typical Chicago fans and just idiots.
The lost tape.
It kind of sums up the whole show here.
Yeah.
In a way. So my sinker is getting sunburnt because I got sunburnt today. It was bad. It's been bad. I'm not good at putting I even put suntan lotion on too. That just doesn't work out for me very well. I guess I'm not very good at putting it on. I do the spray stuff, and I just guess I didn't hit the right spot. Because both of my shoulders are very burnt. I've just got like weird sunburn over here, and then my left arm is actually not sunburnt because I actually did put suntan lotion correctly on this side. So I'm a walking mess right now. It's just I can't get out of my own way. I forgot a hat golf the other day.
Suntan lotion or not tanning oil on?
No, it's suntan lotion.
Okay, because
I don't think I own any.
I'm just checking.
Lotion. Are you the type that after you burn? Are you the type after you burn? Are you good? Do you get does it turn to a tan and then you're good the rest of the summer?
It's good. I work outside. Or do you keep burning? It's gonna happen at some point.
Yeah, so you gotta get your base down.
But I got a buzz in my hair the other day forgot a hat golfing, 18, and my head is now also sunburned, so that hurts too. So I got a real sunburn problem.
Yeah,
no
I got
bueno at all.
I got some roasted shoulders from, doing some yard work, but it's already turned into a tan. I'm one of those that after the first time, it's like Matt said, you just got to get your base down. But I know I can't speak for everybody because I know some people that they'll just burn continuously over the summer. So I count my blessings.
Still doesn't make it feel any better.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Maddie, what is your sinker this week?
Pick one, dude. I don't know. We got my neighbors. Well, not my direct neighbors. My direct neighbors are all really cool, but I guess my neighborhood is just kind of it's been nuts. Like tonight we had issues. Like today we had there was supposed to be like a protest in our neighborhood, and people were like just freaked out. Like it was just going to be like a peaceful one with some speakers and stuff, and people wigged out about it. It got moved, so then like there was a lot of like. A lot of back and forth on the Facebook page for the neighborhood. So that was pretty.
That can never go well.
I got in the mud a little bit. I've never done it. I've never been like to get in the mud, get in the posting with these people. I couldn't help myself. I just had to stir it up a little bit. You guys know how I am, but couldn't help myself. But then tonight, like somebody behind me was launching fireworks. Like my dog's going nuts. We're trying to get my kid to sleep. Kids don't, dogs barking like crazy, so the kid won't sleep. It's like, come on, man. Like,
what I've found out
one day.
What I found out vicariously through
the birds, yeah.
What I found out through Matt is like when you have a kid, whatever keeps him awake is your enemy.
Yes,
that's your enemy.
Yep.
In the moment, that's your enemy.
100%.
I don't care. Yep. I don't care if it's my best friend, or if it's like a dog, or if it's just
a car going by.
It's just a car going by. I don't care what it is. If you're keeping the baby awake, then you're a problem.
Big cat is so spot on. Don't wake the baby. Don't wake the baby.
Yeah.
Don't wake the baby.
If you can just be quiet, then
Then you're
on Maddie's good side.
Yeah.
So it's just been like the neighborhood. My surrounding neighborhood has not been the best place to live lately. So it'll get better. It'll work out.
All right, I'm gonna have to say here, just an overall sinker. Fireworks. I'm not a fan.
Right.
They make a lot of noise. They're just
I'm with you.
So overrated.
I don't get I don't know. I just don't get it.
Well, it's not like the people in the neighborhood are launching like any of the
No,
stuff.
but I'm just saying
like
in general
of any kind. They're just doing the shit that's loud. You know what I mean? Like it's like a quarter stick and just like rattles a window.
Everyone's always like, we gotta go get the fireworks. We gotta go do this. It's like I can go to like a bonfire or a party and be fine without fireworks.
Yeah, I'm 100% with you.
Just not needed.
I don't mind a bottle rocket every once in a while or a firecracker, but literally I've had a box of firecrackers in my office for like 3 years, and
it's like that's just loud and annoying.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but you live out in the country too, or you kind of fuck around. So.
And it's also not something I've gone out and purchased. Someone gave them to me, So
I can't remember the last time I did some. I mean, I just can't remember the last time I went out and bought fireworks.
No, I was probably like 18.
It's been a long time.
My floater is something I tried for the first time in my entire life at the age of 29, and that was true boat fishing. I went out last weekend on Lake Michigan, did a chartered boat, went out. At one point, we were like 7 miles offshore in some pretty decent waves going up and down, but we caught 40 salmon and lake trout in 2 days, and it was something I've never liked fishing. I don't like standing on the dock or standing on the bank and fishing, but going out on a boat and being, in the water was a completely different story. And I really enjoyed it. So might be something to do in the future, but I never in a million years thought you'd catch me on a boat, fishing. And I enjoyed the hell out of it.
You told me a story about one of the guys that did get seasick, and that's what worries me because I think I would be that guy and it would just ruin my whole time. So I just don't even, it's just a fear of mine that I don't want to even try.
Shout out Rob.
There's like
this dude puked for 8 hours.
See, that sounds awful.
There's like a bracelet that's supposed that like
help.
I
get seasick. You can get behind your neck too.
Yeah, it's like I took a Dramamine and then like this little bracelet or whatever, and that helped me big time. I get it really bad though. I've thrown up on boats on Lake Michigan before too. It's brutal.
And
Oh,
I
man,
starts
I'm
Dramamine.
awful. I couldn't do it.
I took
It's
Dramamine, and
awful.
even we got on the boat at 5 a.m. Last Sunday, so the waves were really choppy, and then they were rolling after about 5 miles, and that's when the guy got sick. And even then, I was like, my stomach doesn't feel great. I don't think I'm gonna puke, but it doesn't feel right. And I think if I wouldn't have taken that Dramamine, I probably would have puked too. But this poor guy, man, he said on the edge of the boat, he'd puke. They'd call his name to come reel his fish in. He'd reel his fish and go sit back down, throw up again. And it was 8 hours of that, man. It was so bad. I felt so bad for him, but we had a good time and
worst feeling. That's the worst feeling.
Yeah, you're just like
well,
trapped.
there's nothing
you can do. There's nothing you can
back
do.
to the docks. So,
well, we'll move on to my floater. We'll put some positivity here. Maybe the greatest next few months of sports we'll ever see ever. We're gonna have NHL. We're gonna have NBA. We'll have NFL thrown in there at some point. We're going to have hopefully Major League Baseball. We're going to have golf. We're just going to have all these great events that hopefully will start coming back in the next few months here. We'll get back to normal with the live. Now, we know there won't be fans for a while, but we'll at least get the sports back. And we could be in for some of the greatest months of sports that we've ever seen.
Absolutely. It's going to be backed up, and we'll get a little bit deeper into it in our sports return segment. But Zach, you nailed it. We could be set in for like the greatest 3 months.
Because I'm moving. I'm getting everything set up about July 1st. Hopefully, I'm going to get starting to move in, and I'm thinking July 31st is like when sports is really going to be going. Like I could be setting this up perfectly, get the man cave going, get the studio going. We're gonna be like back on the air doing the TCF morning show every day because we are gonna have so much to talk about. Like,
yeah, we're gonna
crazy that live from Zach's new roof.
What?
I said live from Zach's new roof.
Oh yeah. But if you really think about it,
you have a little mini grill up there.
Yep.
We've been doing that. We've been doing this show without no sport, like pretty much no sports, no nothing for the last few months here. Just imagine when we're gonna get all these.
Hell too.
Oh yeah. And we're gonna be back with full sports, all these, so much to talk about. Like it's gonna be insane. We're not even gonna know where to start because it's gonna be so fun. I'm so excited.
We're all just gonna be like vomiting sports for an hour. Like, oh, did you see this? Did you see this one or this thing? Like, it's gonna be awesome.
Just like what Dom said, yes, if we do have a shortened season, it will feel a little weird. But I'm up for anything. I'm up for anything. Whatever gives me just even 50 games, I'll take just because I need to see the Cubs play.
Yes. Give me something.
In case you forgot, gambling's legal now in Illinois too.
Yeah,
so.
it only started right before everything started, like right before all
4
sports.
hours before the pandemic struck.
Yeah.
Let's we can make bets at the casinos and everything now in Illinois. Boom, no sports. That's like what happened. We're all excited, and then like 2 days later, it's like, well, March Madness won't even happen.
Professional sports in the history of mankind.
Think about it. They were like, we got March Madness, and then like 2 days later, it's like, no, we don't. It's like, what? That had to be crazy. I couldn't even imagine. Like, we're what, a few months removed from all that. Like, if you think about that moment, we were just like, what is going on? Like, that was crazy.
Right.
It's just the world has become a crazy place right now.
Maddie, I know things aren't great according to your sinker, but you got to have some silver lining for your floater, right?
Yeah, and it's the weather because my God, this weekend, 80 degrees, sunny, like no wind. It was absolutely perfect for the last 48 hours, and give me that year round. Let's go to Southern California or wherever that's going to be. That gives you that because we didn't have the downpouring rain that we've had for a while, or the heavy storms or anything like that. Absolutely perfect stuff. I was outside basically all weekend, so it was perfect.
Yep. Man, unfortunately, we live in Illinois, and on Wednesday it's supposed to be like 65 degrees.
Yeah. And then like Wednesday afternoon it'll be 30. Wednesday night it'll be 80. Thursday morning it'll be 60.
It's just like unbelievable. The weather change. It's
roller
just weird.
coaster. It's an absolute roller coaster.
I think it'll be 90
Today,
Tuesday and
yesterday,
65
we were in the middle of perfection. Don't you
Yeah.
love those days too when it goes like 85, 90 during the day,
You just know
and
it's
then
going
at
to be a
night
storm.
you're in like the low 50s. It's what the fuck, you know?
Yeah, like the storm has either happened or it's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what it means.
You can feel it brewing.
Yeah, whenever that it starts to get kind of chilly, you know the storm is brewing.
My
Illinois
dog
talk
usually
here.
starts freaking out a little bit too. You know, talking Illinois, Midwest, the Great Plains.
Dogs know best.
That is true. But, boys, we kind of hinted at it earlier. We talked about it a little bit with Dom. It's looking more and more positive that sports are going to be coming back. We talked about the NBA has approved their 22-team invite to Florida. The NHL has a plan in place, as we talked about in the last podcast, with their expanded playoffs. They're going right into that. But MLB still seems miles and miles away. Shoot, even the WNBA has a plan in place to play down in Florida.
It's like
What's going on with the MLB?
They don't understand that, like, if you don't come to an agreement here soon, you are going to be forgotten about. You already are a sport that have become pretty boring in a way. Just for like what it's become in a way, just where we're going with sports and stuff. And then we're going to, on top of it, be mad about money. Players and owners are going to get mad at each other, and then we're not going to play, and we're going to get into an argument, and then basketball's going to start back up. Hockey's going to start back up. We're going to have golf starting back up. We're going to have NFL coming back here, college football, just all these sports coming back, and people are going to be like, oh, what happened to MLB? We don't know. We don't care. Like, it's just going to be one of those things. And then you're going to, if that doesn't happen, that's going to turn into, it's probably going to turn into a strike if something like that happens. So baseball could be a year or so before you see baseball if this all unfolds badly. And then what? They're just going to come back and start all over, and everyone's going to be like, oh, we can't wait. Like,
yeah,
they're going to really miss out if they can't come to an agreement here.
You said it good, Zach. They're going to get lapped. And, like, especially with NHL going right to the playoffs and NBA is going to be very close to the playoffs. Like, you can't look me straight in the eye and say if there's a Blackhawks playoff game at 7 o'clock and a Cubs game at 7 o'clock, I would be willing to bet most of the city is going to watch that Blackhawks game. And like you said,
and the way the seeding is, the Blackhawks, they win and the Blues win. There's already Blues, Blackhawks second round in the NHL, and like I think there's a few other kind of series that could turn into some rivalries and whatever. But like, it's just they
have to get something more counter.
How are you looking around at everybody, what everyone's doing, and thinking what you're doing is like okay? Like, you guys are just getting mad at each other. All these deals come out, you get rejected, and then it's going nowhere.
Yeah, Matt, are you any more optimistic?
That's where that's where the NHL. I think what the NHL is doing is, if they can get going first, they have a chance to steal a lot of fans. And, for a sport that's always been on the outside looking in, they have a chance to be the only ticket in town. And if they can do that for a 4-week, 6-week stretch where it's playoff hockey and people that have never watched hockey, and that's what you're getting introduced to for the first time is playoff level NHL hockey, they could get a boost that they've never had. And that sport could really go places if they could use this to their advantage big time if they get going quick enough. But I'm kind of with you guys. Baseball, I just feel like baseball just has no clue what the hell they're doing at the end of the day. The owners don't want to pay. The players want their money, and that's like, they're not getting close. So I'm not all
that looks both sides look bad. Both sides look bad in this argument. There's no side that looks good in this whole thing. You're both fighting over money. And yes, you want to say billionaires fighting with millionaires, but I don't like either way. They're still fighting about money when we've been worried about with coronavirus and everything. That's what we've been worried about for a while here, and then we finally that kind of goes away, goes down a little bit, and maybe the sports can kind of come back, and then we're gonna get mad about money, and then think that like we're just supposed to be like, oh, we're supposed to like the fans are supposed to get like super into it and all like it. No, you got to realize that you're gonna lose so many fans if you don't come to an agreement within the next week or two, like. If you can't come to an agreement with the next week or two, like how are you gonna do spring train? How are you gonna get everybody ready? Like it's just you're coming to a point where you gotta either get an agreement or just cancel the season because I don't know what you're gonna do.
Well, how does Rob Manfred keep his job?
Yeah.
If baseball gets canceled, how does Rob Manfred keep his job?
Oh, he can't.
No. He already had the
And I've
comments
never
about
been
the Astros and
I've never
stuff like
been
that.
an
It's just a
anti-man.
trophy.
No, I'm sorry, Zach. Go ahead.
No, you remember with the Manfred stuff with the trophy saying that it's just a piece of metal or whatever. Like that was the start of it. And
Yeah.
with this, like you're saying, if he can't come to an agreement, he's almost like ruining baseball.
Well, it's someone's going to take the fall for it. And,
Yeah.
No,
you know,
yeah.
you're not getting rid of the owners. You're not getting rid of the players. And if he can't broker some kind of a rate, that's what he's there for. And, you know, I've never been like a big anti-commissioner, anti-Manfred guy. I think he's doing what he can. It's a tough
Yeah.
sport to be the commissioner for because the Players Association has long been very strong in baseball, and the ownership group's long been a bunch of tightwads. So, you know, it's always tough to broker peace in that kind of situation. You know, baseball commissioners have always kind of had it tough in that regard, in my opinion. But Manfred's not going to do himself any favors if this season gets shrunk down to nothing.
You're right though. Like if he can't step in and make this deal happen, then what kind of an owner are you? Like if you understand like your sport is at risk right now, the sport that you are the commissioner of, I mean, then what are you doing? Like if you can't step in and making something happen and at least try to save it, like you're going nowhere with it.
Yeah, but in the same
at
breath,
a time when fans are desperate for it too. People are desperate for sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With the possibility of the work stoppage / everything going on with baseball though, like didn't Bud Selig survive the '94 strike somehow though?
I understand what you mean by that, but this is also
we'll
like
see how
I
next weekend.
I wouldn't even be mad about the strike. It's what's going on right now. Like if you can't come in and save that, and then you also go on strike
if you don't get it worked out. I mean, at least in the public image of it.
I don't know.
We'll see exactly how Selig survived the strike next weekend.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that is true. Like we were kind of saying that in the interview. If something happens with baseball, they're gonna need something like the Sammy Sosa McGuire summer to kind of maybe bring it back. If it does all unfold badly.
Too, my God.
Yeah. We're great with that.
I just worry that like you guys if we beat it around that all these sports are going to come back, and baseball unfortunately if they don't get it figured out is going to get pushed to the back page, and it is what it is. So but I do think that maybe now the Bulls can make their firing of Jim Boylan official.
Can the NBA just say we want Zion in the playoffs? Just say it. Just say it. You want him in there. Like, I don't care. Just put him in there. Like I would rather see the Pelicans in the playoffs. Like, but don't be like, oh, we got the 10th seed here, and if they win so many games, they'll be the 9th seed, and you could play a little playoff for the 9th and 8th seed to maybe one of those two teams get in, and then just say you want Zion in. Just say it.
I just need to know when the NBA is at 8 teams in each conference, and then I'll know what's going on.
Yeah,
get me to that point.
Confusing.
You guys figure everything out before then. Let me know when you get to that point, and then I'll be on.
But with the NHL, they're gonna have a little bit of time. Like even when the NBA starts back up, they'll still be able to start to keep the NHL playoffs exciting because they're not gonna start right into the playoffs, so they'll have a little bit of time with that too.
That's gonna be awesome. There's gonna be games all day long.
All day, every day. I mean, it's going to be insane, especially if baseball somehow does get an agreement here and just baseball. It
would be a bad thing if I'm still working from home every day.
Yeah, no, darn it.
In the background.
Literally just wake up to an 11 a.m. baseball game and just write it all the way out till 1 a.m. for the West Coast games.
Imagine I have 8 devices.
Got the dual. I got the dual monitors set up on my computer.
Exactly.
Maybe one of those. There we go.
You think Matt's beard's crazy now? Just wait till he gets 14 hours of sports. He's gonna look like Robin Williams in Jumanji. Got that thing going. If you get 14 hours of it, man.
Beautiful though. 14 hours of sports, live sports, is just beautiful. Just
absolutely. It makes my heart tingle just a little bit.
The 10:30 college basketball games. Oh,
miss those. Yeah,
I miss that.
It's gonna be weird with no fans. It will be the sounds and everything. You're gonna hear everything. And my favorite thing about going to a hockey game is the sound of the sticks and the ice, the pucks. The sounds in general when you're in the stadium are awesome. and you're gonna hear those now on TV.
They say they wonder if they're gonna have to like, well, not censor, but like you're gonna be able to hear what everyone says.
Oh, there will have to be a delay, I'm sure, because they're gonna need like to dump everything if they need to or whatever.
Absolutely.
I like the artificial fans they're using in Korea for baseball.
Yes.
It's awesome. I love it. Get creative with it. Just have like a bunch of
I think SpongeBob was watching a game one night.
It's awesome.
But you know what, boys? It's just I think it's just great that we're able to talk about it, and it's actually a real thing that sports are on their way back. It makes me happy.
One of my other favorite things to talk about, Zach, though, is food. So let's jump into our local food spotlight because that's all I've been thinking about lately. And I'll start. I love a good Chicago dog, obviously, but I also like creativity when it comes to food. And if you go to the Dog House in LaSalle, Illinois, they have, I want to say, like 30 different types of hot dogs, and they're all named after American cities. So like the San Antonio has, different elements of Texas cuisine, different peppers and nacho cheese sauce and different stuff like that. And it's one of those places I've gone to on my lunch break before. I've kept a list in my car for the last probably 3 years. And I'm trying to try all of the city's dogs. So I brought that up because I think the San Antonio might be my favorite, but the Dog House in LaSalle, if you have any, if you like hot dogs at all, or, a specific Chicago dog, whatever, pretty cheap dogs, really good service. The guy in there is super nice. Is taking my orders. Even I think I've only had the one guy that I think he owns it. Super nice dude. And like I said, 30 different types of hot dogs. Can't go wrong. So check out the Dog House in LaSalle.
I love it. I'll go on to mine. My parents went there today. It's Rural Route 1 popcorn. It's in Montfort, Wisconsin, on U.S. Highway 18. Oh, well, white cheddar popcorn. Can't beat it. My dad got a pound of it from this place. Rural Route 1 popcorn. Great popcorn. It was. I've had plenty of it already. But check them out in Montfort, Wisconsin. I've never heard of that, but I like that. That's a nice name, Montfort. Hopefully I'm saying that right.
Yeah.
On U.S. Highway 18, Rural Route 1 popcorn.
Love it. Can't go wrong with popcorn, dude.
No, I'm a big fan.
Yes, you are.
Big fan.
Maddie, what do you got for us this week?
Mine is a small chain of local Chicago Mexican food restaurants. It's called Taco Madre. They got 7 spots in the suburbs.
I've heard of them.
And
we know one of the guys that owns the one in which one does
I was
Ross's brother
Charles. That's where we always go.
Yes,
one of our buddies.
The one we always go is in St. Charles, man. It's fantastic, dude. And super nice people in there all the time. You get,
very nice.
Like I always get the steak chimichanga. Wife always gets the tacos. Kid likes a quesadilla. Everything we've always gotten there is always really good. That chimichanga though, dude, it's absolute fire. Get some of their hot sauce with it too. They give you like a little cup of queso with the chimi. My God, it's delicious.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely delicious. Rice and beans too. Yeah, they do. They got a full menu, all kinds of stuff. They got all kinds of different tacos and stuff. Shrimp tacos, all kinds of steak, chorizo, all of it. Dude.
I follow them on
Facebook,
really good, and everything they post just makes your mouth water. It looks so good.
Yeah.
Good.
Right
7 spots. They got one in
right
Montgomery. Now. Zach, I know you're in Yorkville every now and then, Zach. There's one in Montgomery, so I know.
My
that's
I
sister
just drove by that one yesterday. I was heading to Naperville, so I think I drove
Maybe
right
we'll
by
have
that.
to, after all this quarantine stuff's done. Well, we can still probably go, but do a little taste test up there, and we'll have Maddie meet us there, and we'll do a little food review / just eat a lot of food.
Absolutely, always down for
Sounds
that.
good to me.
But boys, as quarantine, I guess it's hard to even say quarantine anymore. But as all this continues, burning through Netflix, I don't know about you guys, but I've watched my 51st movie since March 23rd. The other day, I've been keeping track. So let's jump in.
Not tell anyone about that.
No, I ain't got nothing else to do. So
half of those you can't say the titles on this show because there's kids listening.
Hey, take it easy, all right? But I've actually taken some Matt's advice.
He's watched the whole movie of that?
Me and the wife are working on the Marvel movies. Matt, you'd be proud. I've never watched any of the Marvel movies. And I think we're like 13 movies in so far. And I have to say, Iron Man's have been my favorite. And then I don't like the Thor movies. They're corny.
I didn't like Thor a lot. I like Thor.
Iron Man was very
Iron Man's
good.
a shit. Ant-Man, I thought Ant-Man and the Wasp was really good too. If you haven't
that one, we haven't got to yet.
The first
Ant-Man was.
I'm glad that's your what you're watching because I just watched Infinity War, and that movie was absolutely dynamite stuff. And so we got, I think, Captain Marvel's the next one, and then Endgame. So we're getting towards the end of what's been out. Pretty excited for Endgame. Pretty excited for Captain Marvel. The other thing too I've been watching was you guys know I went back and started getting my 30 for 30s in. The U Part 1 and Part 2.
Oh, so good.
Get your college football fix, man, because both those Miami programs were absolutely dynamite. So entertaining to watch. Great 30 for 30s. You get the older ones back in the 80s with Jimmy Johnson, Schnellenberger, all those guys, and then you get the Butch Davis, Larry Coker squads with some of the best players that we've seen in the last probably 25 years. So both those are really good.
Absolutely good choice, Maddie. Zach, what have you been watching?
It's not what I've been watching; it's what you need to watch. We've been talking about it. It's pretty much been the emphasis of the podcast with having Dom on. You got to watch Long Gone Summer because it's going to be something, like you said, it's something people won't forget because social media wasn't really around even then. What Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa did for baseball, it saved baseball, and how it's kind of disrespectful in a way. Yes, I know they did steroids, whatever. That was disrespectful too. But the way they're just not being told into the story of baseball, even though they saved the sport. Like, I understand, like I said. But we were talking about with Dom, the pitchers were using steroids. It wasn't like Sammy and Mark were the only guys that were using steroids. Like, people kind of just forget about really how fun it was too. And like I said, the personality of Sammy Sosa. And I don't really know if Mark McGwire had much of a personality or not. Like I said, I wasn't really like I said, you were more focused on Sammy Sosa. But I said you got to watch that if you're just a sports fan, just to remember how fun it was.
Definitely good choice. I can't wait for that to come out. We've only got 6 more days till that drops. So, but that was episode 73. Again, thank you to Dom Frederic for coming on. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Dom_Frederic. Great
Check
interview.
The clothes he has. He didn't want to do it, but he had to do it. Drop the clothes. Drop some. I think he's gonna drop some shirts. I'm not really sure what he's dropping, but Boomy, where can people go get that?
That is at morale.store.com, I believe, is where you can find it. And that will be out today. He said right around midday. So
he didn't want to. He didn't want to, but yeah, he has to. He had to. So make sure you go out and support him. They're great shirts. Like I said,
we've got 3 in our house already. So
Yep, so. I've got a nice little smorgasbord. I got this one on. I got my white shirt. I got my my short sleeve hoodie. I wear that thing all the time. And I got my stickers on my computer that I'm using right now. So can't wait to see what Dom's dropping today.
And thanks to Dom Frederic for he's been on the podcast since we were, like I said, back in SoundCloud before.
SoundCloud days.
I think it was back in he was probably his first 10 episodes. I think we might have had him on. So shout out to him for always being able to come on the podcast, making time for us, and always, like I said, being there for us when we need him to come on the podcast and just being a great guy.
Absolutely. Make sure you follow the main page at @typical_Chicago. Make sure you follow Zach at ZLulia TCF. Make sure you follow Matt at schools_01. I am Boomy. Make sure to follow me at BoomyTCF on Twitter. Make sure to go to Facebook and Instagram. Follow us on there. Just type in Typical Chicago Fans. You'll find us. And then head over to the YouTube page. Subscribe to that to find all of our podcasts in video form, all of the interviews we do, every content we do in video form. Make sure to check us out there. Apple Podcasts, subscribe, rate, and review. Follow us on Spotify. Huge shout out to Lodi Tap House. They got their outdoor seating at both locations. They got delicious food. The Euro Burger is the burger of the month down in Utica. It's absolutely fire. I can't, hype it up enough. Make sure you hit up either of their locations for either dining in on the patio or some takeout. Get yourself a growler or a crowler full of beer to go. You really can't go wrong. There's nothing bad on that menu, whether you want a salad, whether you want a Euro burger, whether you just want some cheese, some fried cheese curds, or just some beer. So make sure you hit up Lodi Tap House. Check them out on Facebook. That was episode 73. We love you all.
Peace.